Hello friends, and welcome to my spoiler-free review on Sifu. This game came out in 2022 for PlayStation. It's a really unique concept. You take control of a kung fu master and you fight to avenge the death of your mentor. However, the twist is that when you die, you age up. If you get too old, you won't be able to learn certain skills, and you could end up permanently dying. So you have to make sure to play it safe and try not to die at all costs. And this game is not easy at all. I just finished my playthrough and I died multiple times. But is this experience worth it? Well, let's talk about it. The first thing I definitely want to talk about is the combat. The combat is the biggest part of this game, and it is simple but yet super complex at the same time. Like you can play it simple, but if you want to get good at the combat, you have to learn all these really tough combos, and but it's really satisfying when you learn and memorize these combos and can pull them off on enemies because it just feels great. The one thing I'm not the biggest fan of is the parrying. I couldn't get the parrying down whatsoever because of how precise it is. And yes, it's obvious it has to be precise. But you have to be perfect to pull off the parries in this game. It is all dependent on skill, of course, but I've played multiple games with non-forgiving combat like Sekiro, and the parrying time in this game is just ridiculous compared to others. I tried so many times and it just ended up screwing me over then whatever, so I basically just fell back on dodging the attacks rather than parrying. But besides that, the combat is solid. There are multiple different skills and things to level up, and what I really like is that you can permanently upgrade skills. So if you completely die and have to restart the game, you keep the skills that you unlocked permanently, and that is amazing. Now, we talked about the combat, so let's quickly touch on the bosses. There are 5 main bosses with one tutorial boss. The beginning, not really a boss, very easy, but each boss plays into their level super well, and I love it. They are definitely the hardest parts of the game. There are some moves that definitely feel unfair and almost impossible to dodge, but I'm sure that there are ways to avoid all attacks, like parrying, but again, you have to be perfect with the parry, so I didn't ever go for them on any of the bosses. I just stick with the dodging, and it worked out for most of them. But there were some moves that definitely caught me off guard and did a lot of damage and I almost died. But each boss is unique, and they all use different types of weapons. 5 bosses isn't a lot, but I would gladly take 5 really good and unique bosses than 20 average bosses that all kind of feel the same, you know? If you are worried about the difficulty in this game, then you will be glad to hear that there are difficulty settings. Now, that might upset some people, because yes, it is a Souls-like. It is tough, it's supposed to be tough, you're supposed to be challenged, you're supposed to die. I personally like it when there are no difficulty settings and they throw me into a game and I have to deal with it. But some people like difficulty settings, that's fine. Obviously in this game there is easy, normal, and hard. That's not what they're called, but that's like, there's 3 tiers. I played my playthrough on easy. Yes, I know I'm a chump. But it really doesn't change a whole lot, believe it or not. If you play it on easy, you get a little bit more health than normal, you age slower, and then aggression of enemies is reduced. And when you think about it, it's not... Obviously, it's easier, but it doesn't really do a whole ton. Enemies still deal so much damage. If you get stuck in a combo, then you're dead. So, doesn't make much of a difference, but it does make it a little bit easier and a little bit more simple. Now I want to quickly talk about the music and the art style, because those are some of the best things going for this game. I really enjoyed each level and each level design. They're all very linear, but I feel like it works for this game. Each level different. Each level looks amazing. It is crazy. The music fits the style of art so well. All throughout my playthrough, I was talking about how good the music is. It is perfect. The music is one of the things I remember most about the game. You will definitely notice the music and you will never forget it. The story is very basic. It's just a good old revenge story. However, the first time you play through the game, you will always get the bad ending. You have to play the game twice to get the good ending, and then there's even a secret ending in the form of a cutscene at the end of the good ending. There are a lot of endings in this game, so if you want to see all endings, you have to play the game all the way through at least twice. You might die at the very end and have to restart and then do everything thrice, but if you're good enough, you can see all endings by playing the game twice. Which might turn some people off. Some people don't want to play the game more than once, and I understand. But the game really isn't too long. I was able to beat the game in 2.5 hours on easy, but if you play it on, higher difficulties, it is definitely going to take a lot longer, obviously, but it's not too long. The last thing I really want to touch on is how well the levels worked. We talked about it a little bit earlier when we were talking about the bosses, but each level has certain things you can use to your advantage, which is great. I love when games and their levels fit into the bosses, and the levels actually feel part of the game, and the environment feels part of the game, if you know what I mean. Like, you can use the environment to your advantage. My favorite level being level 3, where you're in a museum. You can use a lot of the art as weapons. You can throw this priceless artifact at your enemies to, knock them back a bit, do a little bit of damage. It is really these small things that make the game that much better. Alright, we've talked about all these points, but is Sifu worth it? I mean, it definitely depends. If you're wanting a tough combat experience, you're definitely going to want to give this game a try at least once. I would rate this game at a 8.7 out of 10. I decided to put a 0.7 instead of a 0.5 because I can do that. It's my channel, it's my review. Don't come after me. It is currently only on PlayStation, and it's priced at $40 on the PSN store. At GameStop, the physical price for PS4 is $50 new, and for PS5, the physical is unavailable on PlayStation, or at GameStop for PlayStation 5, because I think it's sold out. I don't know. They made very few copies of the physical release, not a ton, because they had 2 physical releases, and there was one collector's edition one. I don't know what it was called, but it has a statue. And then the other one, which is the one I got, came with a mini art book and some lithographs. So they didn't make a whole ton of them, but there's some on pre-owned at GameStop for $45. You can probably find it cheaper on eBay. I got mine for $30, I think, at GameStop for their Black Friday deal. But $40 is definitely not an awful price. So, yeah, you can find it for cheaper. But, although it's only on PlayStation right now, it is coming to Xbox and Steam this March, I believe. So if you really want to give this game a try and don't have a PlayStation, you can play it later this year. I personally think $30 is what this game is worth. So if you find a copy for $30 and you want to try it, I say do it. That's a good price. If it was a little longer, then I would probably pay a little bit more, maybe $40, $50, but the bosses and the combat are great, and there's a decent amount of replayability with the 3 endings you can get and the different difficulty settings you can try. That there's not much to complain about. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this review on Sifu and you want to go see my playthrough, it is on my channel. It's only one video and it's 2.5 hours long. We went through the game in one sitting. So go check it out if you want to. If you guys have any feedback for me about this video, leave it in the comments, please. I'm always open to criticism. I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to get better at all this. Subscribe, stay tuned for more reviews, playthroughs, platinums, and other videos that will come out on my channel. Leave a like if you want, and have a great day, guys.